Okay, good morning Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's lesson. I'm going to be looking at comparing fractions and looking at two strategies. The first strategy I want to look at is thinking about half. So here I've already drawn the bar model. I just want to shade in there. We've got 1/3 and then 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. And I want to consider where halfway is, and that's here. So we can see that 5/8 is greater than half, and clearly 1/3 is less than half. So therefore 5/8 is greater. So I can put that in there. Okay, so some fractions we can just think, well, I can clearly see that's greater than half, that isn't, it must be the larger fraction. However, that does not always work, and it doesn't work with our next example. Okay, so I'm going to compare this time 6/7 and 4/5. This doesn't work, I'm thinking about half, because both of these are greater than a half. So then the strategy I need to do, I need to make them both equivalent fractions with the same denominator. And the denominator, I need to think about 7 and 5 and what's a common multiple there. And the common multiple, one way to find it would be to times the two together. Well, 7 times 5 is 35. There's my common multiple. But to make this an equivalent fraction, I must remember the golden rule. Whatever I do to the denominator, I must also do to the numerator. So over here, I've multiplied the denominator by 5. So I must do the same with the numerator. 6 times 5 is 30. So there's an equivalent fraction there. To turn 5 into 35, I multiplied by 7. So I must do the same with my numerator. 4 times 7 is 28. Now I can compare the two fractions, and I can clearly see that 30 over 35 is greater than 28 over 35. And the way I like to remember it, the smaller number eats the bigger number. Okay, wants to grow bigger. Okay, so that's the way I remember which way round my inequality symbol goes. They're the two strategies. Here are your practice questions for today. So I'll hold them to the screen. You can pause the video. Fantastic, the screen's gone off. You can pause the video and have a go. Okay, and here are the answers. So the first one, I didn't have to do any working out at all. I just realised, I looked at the two fractions and I realised 3/5 is greater than a half. 1/3 isn't, therefore 3/5 is greater than a third. 4/7 and 5/8 though, they're both greater than a half. So I couldn't use that strategy. Therefore, I had to find equivalent fractions by finding a common multiple to make their denominators, which was 56. And from there, I could compare them and realised that 4/7 is less than 5/8. Remember, the smaller number eats the bigger number. So I'll put up today's challenge question if you want to have a go at that one. Okay, let's take a look at the answer. So 4/5 is greater than 6/10 because the equivalent fraction for 4/5 would be 8/10. 6/10 is the same as, so you need to come up with another equivalent fraction. You could have had 3/5 or possibly as well 12/20. Then 3/5 is less than, and I've gone for 4/5 there. Okay, so please log on to My Maths and give today's questions a go. Best of luck.